unusual. Thank you very, very much. Well, good morning, everyone. It is so nice to see you here today. Welcome to UUCCN. My name is Anita Guessing-Connington, and I serve on the Board of Trustees. Today's service will be led by Elizabeth Gonzalez, with her assistant Adam, okay, and Benjamin, okay. Couldn't do without you guys, for sure. And you're joined by Michael Santonio, our musical director. As you know, we are people worshiping together from many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. Work, seeking meaning, acting for justice, and living with integrity, and walking with one another in peace and love. We hope that this hour set apart from daily concerns will renew our spirits, strengthen our love for one another, and embolden us to bring reconciliation wherever we find division. It is good to be together.
Nice to see everybody on a beautiful day. I'm going to be reading a land acknowledgement, which is also in your orderly service. We are here on the ancestral lands of the Merrick. We are here on Turtle Island to be caretakers, to gather in a good way, to be one with Earth's children in all their forms. Those of the straight lands, mountains and valleys, those of the rivers, streams and oceans, and air in the sky above us. Let this land acknowledgement guide us in our return to unity. Let us remember that we are relatives to all beings, those who walk on four legs, those who fly close to Creator, those who swim in the ponds and in the seas, and crawl all over this earth. All of the mammal people, the living green creatures that have given us shade and food, the spirit energy in stones, boulders, and earth's crevices, and all of the created world. Let us live in harmony, practice kindness, and share our love for one another.
You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and what you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. David.
Please rise in body and spirit. read with me our affirmation, which is the responsive reading of our shared Unitarian Universalist values. It's found in your order of service. Love is at the heart of our values. Equity is the value of our inclusive community. Interdependence teaches us we are all connected. Justice is essential for peace and building a beloved community. Generosity expresses compassion, gratitude, and hope. Pluralism encourages respect for diverse beliefs. Transformation allows us to adapt to an ever-changing world.
Good morning. For our peace candle lighting today, these words by Ralph Waldo Emerson. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by garden patch or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life is breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded.
UUCCN is a community of people who strive to be welcoming, caring, hospitable, and loving. We know that the spark of our joys can be amplified when we share them with people who are cheering us on, and the weight of the burden of our sorrows can be lightened when shared with those who have committed to our mutual well-being. Now is the time when you may share a joy or a sorrow that is on your heart this morning. If you would like, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Terry? Anita? Dave?
Yeah, I'd just like to share my oldest daughter, Amy, found out that she's going to Poland this summer with her nieces, with her aunts. There, my wife, Juliet,
concern is that Adam's mom recently had back surgery, but she seems to be recovering well. So we're thankful for that, and hope that her pain will be eased as she heals. May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. So I just have a few announcements. As you know, July and August, Reverend Patriarch will be away recovering from his surgery, but she's available to receive emails, and you can contact her through her phone. So she is still here for us. The book club on Zoom, 8 p.m., August 27th. A Resistance History of the United States by Tad Stoner. A link will be sent out in the weekly update. And also, Mr. Michael Sansaria is going to give us another fabulous concert on November 1st.
Not just me, we have 3 musicians who wanted
The same ones we had last year, and that was a fabulous, fabulous concert. So we're very much looking forward to that. November 1st, probably like 4 to 6, the concert, and then we'll have a dinner. Yeah, something like that. So we hope to see you all there supporting the cause, which is Doctors Without Borders. Okay? And that is it for announcements. One of our traditions is to share our Sunday collection plate with another organization. It is time for our the organization that we are aligning with for July and August is to support the primary school in the Navajo Nation of New Mexico. The pumpkins at our own little pumpkin patch, our biggest fundraiser, are grown on Navajo land, and many of the workers who tend the pumpkins are Navajo. Supporting the education of Navajo children is a way that we can give back and support that community whose effort supports ours. Please be as generous as you can. Thank you.
Is not thoughtless or light or bird, but maybe that's okay. Maybe hope is a stone that we carry in our home, but that seems worse to me. So, what do you have? What do you do with the time that's given you? I like to hope. And like, what is hope if not fuel, right? Fuel to make the future what you hope it's going to be.
So this is from Cinderella.
Sometime in the fall of 2008 or 2009, I met up at Mitchell's Diner with some friends from high school. Two were newlyweds. One was prepping for the bar exam, and one was freshly divorced. She saw the diamond and sapphire engagement ring on my left hand, and she said, "Elizabeth, it's really great that you still have hope." "What do you mean?" I asked. "It takes a lot of hope to get married," she said, "to think that things will turn out all right." And I've been thinking about that ever since. When I watched the video I just showed you, I immediately left a comment replying, "Hope is a to-do list." Every time that you do something that will have a consequence tomorrow, you're acting on your hope for the future. I've gotten into the habit every New Year's Day of posting this comic. It's two people. "Why are you so optimistic about the new year? What do you think it will bring?" And the second person says, "I think it will bring flowers." "Yeah? How come?" "Because I'm planting flowers." There's a Greek proverb that says a society grows when old men plant trees whose shade they know they will never sit in. Because that is an act of hope. Hope that the flowers will grow. Hope that the tree will give shade. If you like to garden, even if you just water your houseplants, you have hope. There's another saying, carpe diem, seize the day. And sure, I agree with that to an extent, but not to the lengths that Jonathan Larson went to when he wrote the refrain in Rent, "No day but today." Yes, we should try to enjoy every day and make it special. But if we lived every day as if it were our last, we would be giving up on the future. We would never do anything to prepare for tomorrow or any time to come. We'd eat and drink whatever we wanted. We would spend all of our money, stop caring for our health, and only live for short-term pleasures. But anytime you care for yourself, your body or your mind, or even care for your possessions, like getting the oil changed on your car, polishing something dull to make it shine, or put a few extra dollars into your bank account, you are acting on the hope that you will reap the benefits tomorrow. Living only for today can only happen when you believe there is no tomorrow. Every action taken with thoughts of tomorrow is an act of hope. Learning to do anything new is an act of hope. That tomorrow you will bake that cake, caulk that window, play or sing that song, or have an occasion to practice speaking a new language. And this is what Jane Goodall was talking about in the peace candle lighting today. What you do makes a difference. And the peace candle, which you build today for people to breathe easier tomorrow. That's hope in action. That's the to-do list. Even if you're saving money for after you're gone, caring for a home, or putting money aside for children or grandchildren, you are living your hopes that the people who come after you will benefit. People often joke about the Whitney Houston song, "Greatest Love of All," where she sang, "I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside." And I think the reason people think this is corny, the reason it makes people uncomfortable, is because it's so incredibly raw and earnest. It is the absolute truth that anything we do for the next generations is an act of hope. But we live in a cynical society that pits us against each other and encourages us to compete in ways that are zero-sum, where losing might mean homelessness or starvation. To tell the truth is uncomfortable, perhaps, because of how far away we are as a society from one that does teach children well, or shows them the beauty they possess. It's uncomfortable because if and when we accept that we are also the future, and if we accept that the actions we take today have consequences for tomorrow, then we need to take responsibility. We need to start in on that to-do list. Some people are content to just hope the future generations figure it out. Adam and I met up for drinks with some friends of ours after the 2016 election. Benjamin was 3 months old. One of them said, "I hope your baby is really good at international diplomacy because we're going to need that." In hindsight, I knew what he meant. But in the moment, I was thinking, what about me? What about us? We don't have time to wait for my infant to grow up and get a job at the State Department and solve world peace. We need to be getting organized now. I've always found my way in local politics and organizing small projects here at UUCCN on Long Island and Queens. And the slogan I often hear at rallies for climate or economic justice is, "A better world is possible." And once you believe that, you have hope. And then you have to roll up your sleeves and get started to win that better world. Mexi is a Canadian YouTuber who talks about leftist politics, environmental justice, and liberation for all. She has a video where she talks about the concept of revolution and how for many people, especially men, this has become a fantasy about being the hero, a violent daydream about conquering the world. That doesn't actually help anyone. Instead of bloviating about overthrowing the world's oppressive governments, why not just build the world we want to see right here, right now? Building the institutions and community we want now is much harder than just hoping someone else does something about the world's problems. This is the to-do list I'm talking about. The only way to get the world we want to live in is to build it. I asked Michael to sing Impossible It's Possible today, not just because of one of my favorite songs, but because this song is about hope as a to-do list. I first heard it as a kid, watching the 1965 film version of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Leslie Ann Warren and Celeste Holm on the Disney Channel. And I was later delighted to watch the 1997 version starring Brandy, Whitney Houston, Bernadette Peters, Whoopi Goldberg, and Victor Garber. I really, really loved this song because it spoke to me on a level that went deeper than romance. I was not a poor servant girl living in a fireplace. I grew up in Elmont and Valley Stream, and I was pretty sure eventually I'd meet the right guy. No, the part that spoke to me was, the world is full of zanies and fools who don't believe in sensible rules and won't believe what sensible people say. And because these daft and dewy-eyed dopes keep building up impossible hopes, impossible things are happening every day. What were those impossible things, I wondered? No one had ever told me I was a zany or a fool, but I had been told many times that you can't fight City Hall, Elizabeth. A family member once told me, when I said that electric cars would reduce climate change, "Oh sure, and then Tinkerbell's gonna come down and wave her magic wand and everyone will be happy. I'm very disappointed with you, Miss Bington." Sometimes I contrast the lyrics of this song to John Lennon. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. But that's too sedate for me. I'm with Rodgers and Hammerstein on this one. I want to make the impossible things happen, not just dream about them. But still, as a teenager, I wondered, what are these impossible things? The song hints that there's more impossible things than love, but what are they? And then there was the 2013 Broadway revival, starring Santino Fontana and Laura Osnes, with Victoria Clark as the fairy godmother, and it attempted to answer a question I've been asking myself for 20 years. The songs and the music were the same, but there was a new book by Douglas Carter Bean, and I reviewed the show for Paradigm Shift, a New York City-based feminist blog. In this new version, Cinderella's stepsisters, one of Cinderella's stepsisters, Gabrielle, has a romance of her own. This B-plot about Gabrielle falling in love with Jean-Michel, a populist rabble-rouser, raises questions about caring for the poor and whether or not monarchy is fair. And by the end of the play, not only is Cinderella married to the prince, but there is no kingdom. There's a constitutional monarchy where everyone can vote, even the women, even the servants. And this was a bit anachronistic, but a really good addition to a children's fairy tale. I wrote, the new book really has the song Impossible It's Possible at its heart. When I was a kid, I liked the message of nonconformity, and that it was okay to be a dreamer, but I was really inspired by the idea that impossible things are happening every day. I wasn't quite sure what those impossible things were, but I interpreted it to mean both true love and other things like scientific discoveries and social progress. This new B-plot about Jean-Michel's political aspirations fits the motif of impossible things. and I like this expansion of the meaning a lot. If hope is a to-do list, then we can check off making Cinderella feminist and socially progressive. But there's still so much to be done. I've had times in my personal life or while volunteering to knock doors for a political campaign where I'm talking to someone about universal health care or renewable energy, where someone gets a twinkle in their eye and a smirk crosses their lips, and I can tell what they're thinking. Sometimes they even say it. Oh, you really believe this? Yes, I do. I really do believe that hope is a to-do list, and the actions I take, the things I check off today, will make tomorrow better or worse accordingly. I must believe it because the alternative is despair. Despair is not an option for me, for many reasons. Love, my faith that I am obligated to do good where I can, my belief in our Unitarian Universalist values and principles, and because of framing new to me as an adult. I must not despair, I must have hope for the future to honor my ancestors, because they had hope. My great-grandparents on my mother's side, on my mother's side, arrived in Winnipeg, Canada from Ireland, escaping the famine the British had imposed on them. There was a program to recruit Irish and Scottish people to farm in Manitoba. They later opted for city life and moved to New York in 1904. On a recent visit to Ellis Island, I found what I believe to be the record of their revival, November 24th, 1906. My grandfather came to the United States in April of 1957 looking for opportunity. He and my father stayed in Hell's Kitchen for a few months, and then, as my father is fond of saying, they were the first Colombian family in Jackson Heights. All of these people had hope, and getting to New York was one hell of a to-do list. A hymn we sometimes sing goes, "We are our grandmother's prayers, we are our grandfather's dreamings, we are the breath of our ancestors, we are the Spirit of God." Did all of these people fight for a new life here for me to give up? I would never let that happen. Do not feel guilty, though, if you feel despair today. If you are hopeless, even after my sermon, I want you to know that it works both ways. We plan and act for the future and check off that to-do list because we have hope, but this is a positive reinforcement cycle. We water our plants, hoping they will bloom tomorrow, and the green leaves we see in the morning encourage to water and care for them again. I have a younger cousin who just turned 30. Every week she sends me a link about something terrible happening. Forest fires made worse by climate change, women hemorrhaging to death in hospital parking lots because they live in states where abortion is illegal, Doge destroying our public health infrastructure so that we all have to worry about cyclospora, salmonella, and screwworm. And I text her back this picture. I first saw it at a union parade with my father. Organize, I tell her. Educate, agitate, organize, do something, do anything. Volunteer for one day at an animal shelter. Organize boxes at a soup kitchen. You will feel better, I tell her. I promise, promise, promise that you will. Right before today's service started, Anita was talking about all the things she has to do. All the things on her to-do list for this year's pumpkin patch. Why would she and Dave be working so hard if they didn't have hope that those pumpkins would be delivered, that we will come together to unload them, that the community will celebrate and buy our pumpkins and enjoy our patch and give us the funds to operate another year? The pumpkin patch planning meeting is hope and in action. Alex Capitan gave a sermon to UUCCN a few years ago called "Impossible Until It's Not." Mayor Zoran Mamdani also used this quotation from Nelson Mandela: "It always seems impossible until it's done." On June 4th, 2025, less than 3 weeks before the mayoral primary, the City Reporter, an independent journalism blog about New York City, published an article. Can Zoran Mamdani's volunteer army pull off the upset? We know the answer, but what I keep thinking about, and what I have sent to my cousin at least 3 times, is this passage profiling young Sani, an 18-year-old campaign volunteer.
I look at my past self, and I see someone who watched John Oliver, watched The Daily Show, watched Hassan Minaj, and I did nothing, Sonny mused. I was angry all day, but nothing happened in that anger. Now, I do not watch John Oliver, I do not watch The Daily Show, I do not watch Hassan Minaj, and I'm 1,000 times more politically active, he continued. And then I can go to bed at night, and I'm not stressed existentially about it. The to-do list builds and builds. A better world is possible, we just have to win it. Building up impossible hopes, things are happening every day. Polish the stone. Let's get started.
So this song is a total service that Elizabeth chose. She doesn't know it's her favorite song.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.